Hello and welcome to Captain Bob's Flight Sim podcast. Today's guest is Michael Schultz. How are you doing, Mikey?
Hello, Trevor. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, everything is fine. Finally, we've found some time beside all our simulator work normally.
Yeah. So, we were just gonna talk a little bit about the story of Mikey's flight deck and how he got started into flight simulation. So, what's kind of the story of Mikey's flight deck?
I think there are two stories. The one is the simulator. The other one is the YouTube channel behind this. As I started this project because I think, like everyone else who starts such a cockpit project, I just want to fly in a real cockpit in the real size. I also started with a joystick, and and I think you know this. It's not enough. There comes a moment when the joystick doesn't fulfill all your requirements, and you want more and want to touch all these knobs. And so I thought start making a full size cockpit. And then I thought, when I do this all alone in my basement just for me, I could make more out of this, and started this channel to show the people what I'm doing, and especially how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
There are these. I think you know this. There are these videos out there on YouTube. These small clips. Last week, again, I saw one clip. I couldn't resist to watch it. 11 seconds, a clip of 11 seconds, and it was an annunciator two times and goes off two times. That was the video. And I don't come over this why people are doing this. Okay, it's looking good. Wow, he has made an annunciator. Okay, and under these videos there are these questions: how have you done this? How have you done this with the software, hardware, and so on? And it isn't answered. And I think this is the first question that comes to most of the viewers of the videos. How is this done? And this is something I want to show here.
Yeah, I think that's a really noble pursuit because for a beginner, there's a lot of resistance with all of the friction from the software, hardware, electrical end. And I really like your videos because you can go from video one to your most current video, and you can really learn like so much about flight simulators.
I hope so. I try to make this on a level where everyone can follow me, and I don't explain everything in every video again. So that is because in every video I have the link to the playlist, the whole story, and when you're watching this, you should watch all the videos like a development process. For example, when I start the first panel video, I explain more about making panels, how to cut it, how to prepare it, wash it, and so on, or the engraving. And then later, in the newer videos of panel making, I just have this panel made, and I don't show the people in every video again how to make and engrave a panel, for example. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really helpful, kind of the progression as you a little bit, because if you don't include it at all, you're kind of clueless. But if you include it as like a progression and things build off of each other, then you don't repeat the same thing over and over, which can be really helpful.
Yeah, this is something I'm always have to look after, especially now. At the current time, there's a process where I make this overhead panel, and there are lots of videos where I make one panel section after the other, and they are all nearly the same. They are every different panels, okay, but the process of making this panel is nearly every time the same: a backlight panel, a middle panel, bottom panel, and so on. yeah, and I try to focus on the topics that are new for the viewers then.
That's an excellent point. Kind of just focus on the view, what the viewer I think would kind of need. So you share your skills a lot with us, your laser cutting, your engraving, and just your general construction, including the 3D printing and even your video on KiCad. How do you learn these new skills?
Mostly on YouTube these days. I think some years ago, when there wasn't so much knowledge out there on YouTube, I read books, and there are also two books. I think it's kind of I think Mike's flight deck. It's called, and he has made two books, and I read these, and there is much knowledge, but yeah, a general knowledge about making flight simulation, and you have to think what can you need or to get a sense of this whole topic. Programming. Most of the times I'm getting from books. Other things like building things or ideas for making parts from websites. When I Google for a topic I want to do, and then I'm searching out for pictures of this. And laser, CNC, and so on are topics that came from my woodworking years. I think before this flight simulation, there was always a time when I wanted to start build a CNC, and so I read and about this topic out on the web, and watched also YouTube videos, and bought a finished plan of the CNC, so I could build this after the plan, modify it a little bit to my needs. Yeah, I think YouTube, but in general, YouTube can be a really good resource for knowledge. And this is something also funny when you don't log in to YouTube, then it is like mainstream television. Nothing for me, nothing really interesting out there. But when I log in, YouTube is just my knowledge base and brings everything that I want to know and watch. Google knows me better than me these times.
Yeah, something really cool. I feel the same way if I like go onto YouTube on a different account or something, and I'll see all the like news feeds, and I'm just like, no, get away, be gone. And it's really helpful if you start to like take in information and you really like it and latch onto it. It'll actually give you more information, which is really cool.
Can be a really dangerous process too, because I'm many times I'm lost late in the night on YouTube when I wanted to be in bed already.
That's very true. I found that too. There is a lot. You can learn a lot, and you can also get overwhelmed easily too.
But there are more and more builders showing process, and not only cockpit topics. Everyone who has the ability is somewhere on YouTube out there. So many people keep the knowledge for them, but luckily there are a lot of them who want to share this knowledge. And it's not bad for them. I think many people don't want to come out with their knowledge, because then they have the feeling they lose a chance to make money of this, or to get back behind the mess. But if I bring all the knowledge out there to the community, people are still buying my plans, and just because I'm showing them, they see the plans are working, for example, and so I think it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, I think so too. I I honestly, when I saw your business plan, I was impressed. It was really cool because I think this, as you said, was a win-win situation where you're winning by providing the cockpit, by like providing a revenue stream for your hobby, but then also the viewer is winning because they have some really crafted designs and they don't have to go through and design it all themselves.
Yeah, yeah. They can take what they need and adapt it to their needs and their situation, what they need.
You said you were into woodworking. Is there any kind of background with that?
And not a professional one. It really starts also with this cockpit project. I was never a good craftsman. That came then by the years. I wanted to make this cockpit, and then I thought, what do I need for this cockpit? I have to make panels. Okay, and when I want to make panels, what do I need? A CNC. And when was it? That was I think 2011. 2011, I think, when all these dots went through my mind. So I needed a CNC. Okay, I want to build a CNC. What do I need to build this CNC? A saw, and so on. And then I started with my first try to build a CNC in my basement, a 6 square meter basement there, and started woodworking. And this catched me for a while. And then I made my first tables and so on. And I never thought on this cockpit project again all these years. And then there came years where I made woodworking and built up my own shop. We bought this house here and I got a bigger shop and so on. It developed. And then finally, I when every work here in the house was done after years, then there was this time again where I came back to this cockpit project, and this time with improved woodworking and so on knowledge. And I think this was a good development because I would never be able to make these sidewalls, windows, and so on, what I have done in this quality without all these years of learning.
Yeah, there's all of those years, and it's really fun to see skills kind of build upon each other.
Yeah, I'm also coming up with some ideas that turn out not the best after I've repeated them several times. For example, the windows where one topic they didn't hold to the wooden structure, and I improved them. Or finally now the newest video of this pneumatic panel where I finally found another way to make these two colored panels. Yep. Sometimes it needs several iterations to come out with the right one. And then I don't think this is the last iteration of this, but we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah, there's the quote, I guess there's also perfectionism is the enemy of good, but it's also good to, like, as you learn, make new, better simulators too. Okay, who are some of your role models?
Yeah, I try not to stick too much to special role models because then I run into danger that I copy them too much, and especially with this YouTube source out there, there is always the danger that someone says, here you're just copying his idea and so on. And this is something I have to keep in mind always. But I think, like most of the 737 builders, the Norwegian 737 project, and there especially this also this woodworking part. I think this was incredible. I've seen these videos years ago when he worked on this wooden shell for days and weeks and months and so on, sanding and the next layer of plywood on it and filler and sanding again. And I always thought, why is he doing this all? Because he's sitting inside the cockpit and he is investing so much time into the outside of the cockpit. But it turned out really well. And after this, there was this buying one panel after the other. That was for me something that wasn't the way I wanted to go. I always said I want to make most of the things myself. And by making things by yourself, there is another one, Clement from the Flytech 737BE website, I think a Belgian builder. And he came out with really many ideas of making things by yourself. Lights, he has made lights out of some parts he found there in his shop and built some small lamps and so on. I think he also made windows, or bought he, I don't know, but there were many things he made by himself, and not only 3D printing it. That was also an interesting fact. Many people are 3D printing these days, and he found other ways. And I think this can also be good to see for people that are not in this 3D printing topic, that there are also other ways to come to your goal. Yeah.
You didn't really want to go down the OEM, buy panels and convert them route. Do you think a new builder should go down the OEM, or like original equipment manufactured route, or build their own panels? Which one do you think would be better for most people?
Both ways can be very time consuming and will be very time consuming, I think. Let me explain the OEM part. There are some new videos from Build A Boeing. I don't know if you know the channel Peter from, I don't know, I think it's from Denmark, a builder who is buying many OEM panels these days and building them into his simulator. There is a problem that you have to come with a good electronic knowledge then, because electronic in an OEM panel is completely different from the electronic level we need in our situation, in our simulators. A switch, for example, in our simulators, a wire going in, a wire going out. That's all. And in a real for a real switch, there are sometimes 6 wires in the switch, and you buy these switches and you have to change them so they work with this simple one wire in, one wire out level. And this, I think, you can't be successful in this when you don't have good electronic knowledge. So this is the first thing. The other thing are the dimensions. I think they all have the same dimensions when we are talking from panels. But I don't know if there are, from the years when you buy, for example, from a 737-200 and then a 737-400 different panels, if they fit together in your overhead frame, for example. So there's always this fear that these panels don't fit together. And what will you do then? Another thing is, do do you really want to have a panel where thousands of people have touched before? This is something that I think is not the way I want to go. So these panels come to you and they are used for 20, 30, 40 years in a plane. And I don't think you can use this as it comes in your simulator. So you have to renew it anyway. And this also needs knowledge so that it still be backlightable, for example. So really, really difficult there. And another thing, making panels yourself, there is a time you have to build all the structure that you need to build such panels. Like me, I have to build a CNC for first. Now I have a laser, so I can make other things. You won't be able to make high quality panels just with a saw, for example. I would tell people build your own panels first and build them cheap. There are ways that you can just have printed stickers on an acrylic sheet, for example, and then you don't invest too much money and time into the panel making, and you can try out if your electronic knowledge is good enough. And then after this, you can still go the way making better panels, or if you still want it, buy OEM parts. Yeah. But don't think they fit into your existing structure. That's another one. Huh? When you have the finished cockpit, for example, the overhead frame, and then you come with these OEM panels, I think this won't work.
I really like how you touched on building smaller or like acrylic panels with little stickers. I think that's something we often overlook. You just want to get the like finished product with the CNC mill, the laser engraver, the little annunciators, all perfectly made. But I think we sometimes overlook the like simple solution, and it really works as a test drive.
I think this is the way a beginner should go. For me, this wasn't the way, because I think I wouldn't have catched too many people on YouTube with this. And so I always wanted to get one step further. But there are enough builders out there when we are again at these websites where I'm looking out, who are making their cockpits with these stickers. And also the Build a Boeing channel, his first overhead panel was made from white foam. I think this was backlightable, from white foam with a big sticker on it. And he made these cutouts with a knife, built these annunciators inside, and this looked really well. And the video clicks, the views of the video, tell you that there are many people out there who are grateful for these tips.
Yeah, I saw that video too. I think it was one of the videos that I looked at and was like, I wonder if I could do flight simulators. So
Yeah.
it does definitely have merit.
Yeah, this make the entrance level for people better when they are looking my newest videos, and I come with a laser and a CNC and a big saw and so on. There are these comments. Oh, if I would have all these tools, then I would be able to make that. Huh? But that's not true. Yes, you can't make it with that quality, but there are many other levels below this which will fulfill their needs and where they would have a good entrance to this hobby.
I like that. Guess it's the like start with what you have, and then go from there. That being said, uh, what are some things that make your simulator unique from other simulators in that you've seen?
The point that I'm doing really everything by myself. That was a goal for me from the first time. I wanted to be independent from from any manufacturer. Okay, I'm still there are still some dependencies to software developers. For example, when you are you need a connection software, PMDG or ProSim. Depends on the model that you want to build. Yeah, but really after some time, I decided that I won't buy panels, and this is something I think that makes this simulator and this channel unique from others who are buying these panels or showing, oh, look here, I have bought this overhead, I have bought the throttle quadrant. There it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
definitely think that's something unique about the channel, and I think it's one of the things that makes it really appealing. It's kind of the thing that uh, you built everything, and you can too. It really,
Yeah.
I guess, is a beacon.
Yeah, I I hope this this reaches the viewers that you can do this too. Okay, with not as we have said before, not maybe not in the one-to-one same quality, uh, but you can do this. You aren't yeah, you don't need to buy everything. There are ways where you can save money.
Oh, how many hours do you think you work on your simulator panels or your simulator per panel?
Per panel, I only can show the thing of the time, yeah, that I have reserved for every panel. Most of the times, it's a 3 week time from one panel release to the other. And when I say panel, for example, I mean a panel section in the overhead. For example, no? I have divided this into all these sections: pneumatic section, whatever here, a center panel, electronic panel, and so on. And most of the times, I have 3 weeks here that I need for one section or one part in the cockpit. Some panel need more time, and for example, the electronic panel isn't still finished because I have stopped the work on it after I have used 5 weeks on making the PCBs for it. Yeah, but when I look in the time I'm using, I'm spending for the simulator. Also, there are I think 16 hours, maybe a week, that I can spend on this hobby. This is the other side of making YouTube videos about this. You can calculate 1/3 of the time for video stuff, editing this, and also waiting for some parts to be finished, so I can then film another step. Sometimes I have to stop working on a panel. Also, if I could finish it, but I have to stop because it's not the right point where I can film this step in the build process, and then the viewers would miss something. So this is sometimes holding me back.
Definitely with my simulator too, it's been a little bit like that too, because I would design something and it would take a lot more to film it than it would just to design it real quick because you're explaining everything. And then after that, you have to edit it down and compress it, I guess. So it's it's funny how the YouTube channel can both propel you forward with like giving people ideas, and you also get, and I imagine you'd get ideas from the YouTube community too, or like, why didn't you do it that way? And you can find ideas that way. But I think that's just really interesting to see how it can both hold you back a little bit by taking up some time, but I imagine there are also some positives.
Yeah, yeah. This is it's really cool. What you said to come. It's a resource for new ideas. Not not too many. In my case, I don't know if you have more in on your channel, but sometimes some hints are really good out there from the community, and they give me new ideas for new videos. So especially in the live streams, you can coming closer to the people and get in contact with them, and so you can learn more what are their needs.
With your simulator, it usually has a lot of skills being built and added on. What are 3 skills that you'd like to put into your little flight simulator tool belt?
3 skills. Here, I think this CNC knowledge is definitely something you have to have when you want to come out with your own panels. It doesn't matter if it is laser or CNC router, but this is something, yeah, you should have. Constructing is what I say a second one. 3D modeling or making 2D build plans, for example. This is something you should do to get a sense of how big an object will be later when it's finished, or will it fit into your simulator here. And one thing is really a personal knowledge is never giving up. Yeah, how do you handle failures or mistakes? Will you then say, okay, that was my project, and you're burning your simulator in the garden, or are you saying, okay, now I know a method that don't work, let's try another one, for example. Yeah, I think, and this is something that leads you to a successful end finally, when you're not giving up what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I like the the burning your simulator in the garden. Yeah, definitely try to avoid that.
The more civilized form of giving up your simulator you see in the in the Facebook forums or the Facebook groups, for example, when someone is selling again his cockpit. Then he has no more time, or changed the hobby, something like this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always sad to see those go up, because you're like, oh, they spent so much time together. It must be really hard for them. Yeah, there are a few sad stories about that you'll hear. Um, hmm. Okay, so you've built the entire. You're probably halfway done with the 737, right?
Halfway halfway with the overhead panel, I think.
Oh,
But yeah, there are many parts that I'm missing. When I think on all these, the whole MIP, for example, pedals, yokes, and when I come to yokes, then there is this whole floor with this connection for the pedals and the yokes seats. Yeah, there are still some more years to come. Yeah.
yeah. I guess not I guess it's hard to like gauge your progress because there's so many things in the 737. I guess I was just like, he has a structure. He has an like most of his overhead panel, like half, and then the MIP. That's probably half, but I didn't. I guess it was kind of ignorant for me to not take in the entire amount of things that go into it.
There are many upcoming projects there in this simulator, and also more knowledge to get when it comes to the connected yokes. For example, I think there are ways. I don't think there is a way where you don't have to come to welding, for example. And this will be very interesting and challenging step in the cockpit again.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I didn't think about the welding.
I think the one and only reason is there aren't many alternatives when you want to build a cockpit. I think when you think what cockpits are there out there, and I'm not only talking about there is this one cockpit out there. So cockpits people are building there. The 737. There's the A320 out there. A Cessna is there. People are building, and when you are looking to the I think there's some 757, 767s out there. I think that's really rare. And when you look to the military section, F-16, A-10, and that's it. And you have to, what I said before, there must be a software developer that supports you with your needs. There must be a simulator where you can fly this that supports your aircraft type. And there was the first thing, the first plane type I want to build was I have to look up what this was. I think from PMDG has this also in the program the Jetstream 41 turboprop. This was the model I flew, and I really was in this in a real high-end simulated cockpit. And this was the one I wanted to build because you are able to land even on small airplanes. This is something. No? When people are building a 747, you take yourself chances to land on different airports because you need a special runway length, and you can't land on a small airfield. And so with a turboprop, for example, or a Cessna here, you can fly nearly all over the world and land on every airport. And so I think the 737 or the A320 were the two models that came that I had to choose. And then was the last thing that led me to the 737. I want to have the steering in my hands. Just the Airbus is a little bit too automated. So automated for me. I have flown this one time. I flew in this ProSim A320 one time, and it is really easy. Not that I want to say anything against all these Airbus pilots. There's lots you have to know to fly this thing. Yeah, but flying with a yoke is for me the good old way to fly a plane. Even if it is an airliner, no? But still a yoke in your hands.
So you've built up your workshop over the years from, you said, a saw to a CNC mill, to now a laser engraver, and you've also done your top 10 tools series. So
Yeah.
if you were to to take all those videos or any other tool and then boil it down, what is the top one tool that you think a flight simulator builder should get, just in general?
That's a really, really hard question. One tool. I love so many tools. Then I have said this in one of my live streams. I think then it should be the 3D printer, because this is the one tool that makes you able to design and print out all, even the last complicated part that you can't do on a CNC or with a saw or with your hands, for example, in a good quality. That depends on the printer. Yeah, but this is one tool. If I only would have to choose one tool.
If you had to choose one, it would be the 3D printer, and I would agree with that because, as you're saying, you can make super small, complex things. And if you're just going to do a little desktop-mounted simulator, you could easily mount a PCB, or not a PCB. You could easily 3D print panels as well, though it's not the most efficient use of plastic. You can 3D print panels, make desk mounts. Even if you just want to start a little bit smaller, 3D printers are fantastic.
Yeah, and these days they are affordable for anyone. They you don't have to invest much money to start with a 3D printing hobby, and and you can print out knobs or complicated structures there, that you wouldn't be able to build with a saw, for example.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the really critical tools. So, if you were to see someone in real life and they're talking about building a flight simulator, what advice would you give to them if they're brand new?
Yeah, think well if you really want to go this way. Of course. Yeah, but something I've said before: think bigger. Don't restrict yourself with all these things. If I would have these tools, and then in some years, when I have this money, then I can do this. Especially in these times, what we have said just now about this 3D printer, the entrance level is really low, and you don't need to be the full size cockpit. Start small with some small parts. For example, something for a desktop, and monitor holder for a touch panel overhead, for example. Some small yoke. There are 3D printable yokes out there. And then think bigger. If this is, if you have some good results, and this is something you like, then think bigger, move forward, and then we will see what comes out after some years.
Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
YouTube is a great resource of ideas and plans how to make something. Just also show your ideas there. It doesn't need much to just record some things and show it to the people. But when you do this, say something about this. I think this can be something good. Become a part of this community, and not just and not just filming around something working. Just write or say some words about this, how you have done this, and I think this would increase the number of knowledge out there. Yeah, build and share.
Absolutely. There's so much power in the flight simulator community, and once you get to like be a part of it and build, it's just amazing to see how all the knowledge. And you might be surprised, but you the viewer, can add to the knowledge bank.
There were these years before where every hobby had their small forums out there in the web. I think for those things, it's really concentrated these days now on Facebook in some groups. I think, and this is really a great resource. Also, there are 1,000 people in one group. Someone has a question, and there is always another one that can answer this. I'm in a CNC group, the laser group, two different cockpit builders group, and every time when I'm asking something, I get really quick response and good ideas and help. Even I in this CNC group, I had a problem with a file that was, I think, a corrupted file. Something was wrong with some letters, and they even let me send them my files, and they looked them up and helped me out there. And so people are really spending time to help you. And this shouldn't only be one direction. You should also invest the time and help people too. And so every time when I see a question that I can answer easily with the knowledge I have, then I also give my opinion to a topic, for example. So if it isn't YouTube, then use these Facebook groups, for example. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mikey, so much for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for the possibility.
It was a pleasure talking with you, even getting your story, answering the questions. Thank you so much. I guess until next week. Thank you for watching the podcast, and tune in for the next podcast episode. Bye.